He has this woman in his chapel in the rectory who's slithering across the floor like a snake, foaming at the mouth, and her eyes are rolled back in her head. And he's doing all these prayers. And then he looks at his watch and he says, okay, I'm going to go celebrate Mass. I'll be back in an hour. Just stay with her. And I'm like, what?
So a little background of this Father Dan. He was actually sexually molested when he was 11 years old by a reverend father, actually a Catholic priest. Yeah, but it's quite amazing that he later became a reverend father. You know, some people would say you get an aversion to this, but it's amazing what God can do. There are 3 takeaways from this very short video. And one is things that we do every day that could be an open door for demons to actually possess us. 2, in our darkest time, probably you lost a very dear relative and you're so depressed that you want to actually find out who caused it or why it happened. Some people go to, different places. He said something about it and some effects of that. And then 3, people who go to like places that they feel it's okay just because they saw maybe the crucifix and the statues of the Blessed Mother or some sacred pictures, and then they feel comfortable that this is the right place to be. Check this out.
Yeah, we actually have case studies of actual exorcisms that have been performed, what happened, what you should do, what you shouldn't do. That class was the best class. Don't do this. So if the victim vomits up anything, including it could be vomit, it could be small frogs, it could be nails, do not touch them. They're cursed objects until you liberate the objects from the demons and the curses, and then you can clean them up.
Now, this part is very interesting. The reason I say it is I've actually seen some videos of some pastors like delivering people and they're coughing up stuff. And it's quite obvious that there is actually something in those stuff they are coughing up. And being a Nigerian and from African background, I actually heard several times of people like complaining about being spelled or that like people cast a spell on them just because they went to the hospital and they couldn't find out the cause of their ailment. And some of them actually complain about having like pin pricks all over their body. Yeah, it happened. And I've also heard of people saying things like you can actually purchase a spiritual pin in the market and use it to attack people. This is truly weird. At first, I didn't believe it. But hearing this from Father Dan, I strongly believe that this could be one of those objects that people cough up during deliverance. Now, here is one of the points. It's very important that you listen very well.
Do they talk about how it happens?
How does one get possessed?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, of course. 100%. And the 2 biggest ways are dabbling in the occult and...
What does that mean?
Playing with demonic things, Ouija boards, going to a psychic, tarot cards, or actual occult worship of the devil. Those are pretty much immediate open doors that you're going to have demons come right in.
Psychics are demonic.
Yeah, they're not channeling your dead relatives.
So notice something. He said something about psychics. Honestly, I wouldn't call them spiritual people. And sometimes there might be some men of God who are actually psychics. Yeah, because from the look of things, some of those people like front themselves acting like who you think they are, considering the atmosphere or the kind of building. So that way you're comfortable. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but only the one who does the will of my Father who is in heaven. So obviously, it's not just because you see, the beautiful things, and even sometimes they call the name of Jesus, which is actually scary. It still doesn't mean that this is the real deal. Let's just keep going.
So right now, we have at least 3 guardian angels in the room. There's also probably demons in this room, and they're listening, and they hear every bit of what we're saying. Excuse me.
It's actually interesting what he said here. This is going to lead to the next point. He said that they're actually angels right there. And many people believe in guardian angel. That's the truth. And he also said that there are also demons in that room. And actually that cough right there makes me think. But I don't want to project into or, say something that doesn't really align with what is actually happening there. But then it leads me to the point where people say monitoring spirits. But let's continue with this video.
And When somebody says, well, the psychic told me my mother shared this with me when I was 10, and nobody ever knew that but us. So it has to be my mom, except for the demons in the room who also heard it. And now they're impersonating your mother. If your mother's in heaven, she's having a good day. She doesn't want to come back and visit you, as much as mothers love their children. If she's in purgatory, she needs our prayers to get her moved into heaven. And if she's in hell, there's no getting out. It's not your mother.
Wow.
They can put up a good show, and it's very, they can also place thoughts in our minds, and they can manipulate our emotions. And when you have that trifecta, the person is 100% believes it's their mother.
He said that these demons have the opportunity to get informations from maybe a conversation with someone you love. And these guys are smart. They have informations, they have it in a bank or wherever they keep it, and they use it whenever they want to use it. Let's say you have a conversation with your mom, and years down the line, your mom is no more, and then you go meet a psychic. Or psychics who pose themselves as pastors, and they have the ability to connect with these demons who are like monitoring your life, and they will actually tell you facts about things that you only and the deceased relative know. So this makes me wonder, if the devil knows Jesus Christ, how come the devil won't know you? Mark 1:34. And he healed many who were sick with various diseases and cast out many demons. And he would not permit the demon to speak because they knew him. So it's mind-blowing what this man is saying here. But let's just continue.
So if you're a psychic and I'm getting a reading from you, how does the transmission happen?
They're in touch with a demon they may even think it really is a relative. But I think most of them know that there's a power they're tapping into that is dark. And they're not going to share that with you. In fact, some of them will put Christian statues in the room. Sacred Heart is over here, Our Lady of Fatima is over here, just to lower the anxiety level of the person coming in. Because a lot of people have heard it's really not a good thing. Mm-hmm. But they get desperate. When people are desperate or in fear, they do things they wouldn't normally do.
So the pictures, the statues, the cross, the crucifix doesn't really mean that all is well from what he is saying. And in fact, it's obvious that some of those pastors put up those pictures to make you feel comfortable, to feel like all is well. But then you are going into a web.
So after the Civil War, these charlatans came up with these talking boards that they were going around and visiting all the widows, saying, I can contact your dead husband, the soldier who died. If you can pay me this amount, we can do it with this talking board. And then that eventually became what was being known as the Ouija board, which was bought by a toy company. And they're based in Salem, Massachusetts, the capital of witchcraft. And the first year they went to market, the number one board game was Monopoly. And that year, Ouija boards outsold Monopoly by 1 million boards. So it was embraced by the culture, fast. Mm-hmm. And it's opening a portal right into hell.
I personally, the Ouija board, I never knew about it. I don't know what it is. A lot of people in Africa do not know. Maybe it's a new thing now, but here in America, it's a known game, which could be called a board game, pretty much. But then this is one of those things that people would see and feel like it's nothing, but then it's actually demonic from what he is saying. Other things that I've actually heard from people like this is the kind of movies you watch. Previously, I don't really care. I watch any movie, but recently I feel like we got to be very careful. Say for example, Avatar, a lot of people had negative stories about Avatar after watching this movie. So just watching it, people got some demonic attacks. And another movie, The Exorcist, I heard a lot about The Exorcist. Some other things that we could be using, like shoes. Recently, a guy named Lil Nas X had a shoe that had a drop of blood in the shoe. So these things will make you wonder, why would someone have a drop of blood in the sole of a shoe? And then another point is sometimes people go buy used stuff, especially people in Africa. They use things that are being sent from the Europe, from the Americans down to Africa. some of those things might have been used by the occult and then they get rid of them. It might be a cloak and you just wear it because you bought it cheap on the used market without really knowing the origin of what you're putting on. It might be a shoe, it might be anything. I've seen people putting on like t-shirts in Africa that actually has some inscriptions that honestly, if they really know what they have on, they will burn those clothes. But then just because you don't know, sometimes you will be surprised that not knowing doesn't even save you. But then it's great. You guys have to look him up. His name is on the screen. Kindly comment, subscribe to my channel and follow my page as well. Because if you love contents like this, more will be coming your way. But then remember, you are the judge. Peace.